At this moment, I find myself kneeling beside the bed, exposed and adorned with a chastity belt, as Ethan Brooks concludes his task. Each week, Ethan Brooks refreshes the 5 crimson lines on my backside with a leather strap. Immediately following the 5th stroke, he removes my plug and takes me from behind as I bend over the couch. Welcome to IFIRE Story. Catch gripping Reddit tales of family drama, cheating wives, and betrayal. Subscribe for shocking daily stories that'll keep you hooked. Ethan Brooks, indeed. She believed she was being cunning. Unbeknownst to her, I had already caught wind of everything through a colleague of hers who was appalled by the unfolding events. I crafted my plans and got ready. Fortunately, I found the opportunity to confront the anger and ready myself for the impending events. The evening would unfold its secrets tonight, just after the meal was finished. Emma, my friend Ava, inquired about tonight. Absolutely. I'm ready to take the plunge. I'll hold off until after dinner, grab him a beer, and then I'll share what unfolds. I responded, just keep in mind to stay resilient. He may not appreciate it, but you must remain resilient. I'll keep that in mind, just as we discussed. He is left with no option. This is the way it will unfold. If he truly cares for me, he will support my pursuit of happiness. Indeed, brace yourself for his outbursts and loud expressions. He may resist at first, but ultimately, he will realize the truth and embrace the new reality. Maintaining a composed yet assertive demeanor is crucial. Allow him to throw a fit, and soon enough, he'll come to understand that you hold the reins. Indeed. Moreover, to the best of his knowledge, this situation is expected to be short-lived. Once he embraces it, he'll begin to appreciate it. It will continue on endlessly. Do you really believe all of this? Ethan Brooks often displays a strong sense of determination. Listen, Emma, Ethan Brooks adores you above all else. Of course, he will become upset. However, once he finds his composure, he will come to understand the depth of his love for you, compelling him to go to great lengths to ensure your happiness, even if it means that. All right, I believe you have the knowledge and skills in this area. Believe me, it took experiencing the failures of 2 marriages to truly understand the dynamics, but I've refined my approach in my 3rd marriage. You've encountered my present spouse. He is now entirely in my grasp. He even stands beside the bed when I engage with one of my partners. At times, I request him to tidy up after I finish. In a month, yet another Ethan Brooks will join the queue. You can rest easy knowing that your bond with Ethan Brooks is secure, along with the enjoyment of the company of several other men. After a long day, I returned home to prepare Ethan Brooks' favorite meal. Upon Ethan Brooks' arrival, he welcomed me with his familiar phrase, "I love you," and planted a gentle kiss on my cheek, just like always. Even with all my preparations, a sense of unease lingered within me. This marked a significant shift in our marriage, yet every moment proved to be worthwhile. Ava had been sharing her insights about her FLM, Feminine Marriage Ministry, with me for quite a while now. I have witnessed it succeed for her and her partner. He felt a deep sense of joy regarding the outcome of their marriage. I'm certain Ethan Brooks would enjoy it as well. The dinner conversation was delightful. We shared our experiences from the previous day and delved into the day's news together. It was an easygoing dinner for us. After dinner, I urged him to take a beer and relax while I tidied up. He hesitated briefly, eager to assist, but I assured him it was a small task and that I could manage it on my own. The remnants were stored, the plates were loaded into the dishwasher, and the moment had arrived. I filled a glass with wine, steeled my mind, and stepped into the living room for the impending confrontation. "Ethan Brooks, dear, we must have a conversation," I began. "Of course, dear. What would you like to discuss?" "All right, Ethan Brooks. I understand this may be difficult for you to come to terms with at the moment, but it's a decision I truly must make. Kindly remember that this is just a temporary situation. All right, what do you require? If it truly matters to you, I will certainly do my best to ensure your happiness." Up to this point, he had handled it quite admirably. He seemed completely unfazed. "That's excellent. We've talked about starting a family, and I'm nearly prepared to take that step. However, there are a few other tasks, I believe, I must attend to before proceeding. That should take a few months at most, and then we can begin planning for a family." "That's wonderful, darling. What are the tasks that require your attention?" "Here it is." I inhaled deeply and prepared myself for the explosion of colors and sounds. "Well, Ethan Brooks, I must plant the final batch of wild oat seeds. This phase will be brief, after which I can fully embrace my role and become the ideal partner and mother to our children that you have always envisioned." "Very well, my dear. That seems fair at this point. But what's your plan for planting those wild oats?" "Impressive. He's handling it remarkably well. I anticipated he would lose his composure. I plan to explore connections with other individuals for some time. We'll continue to share intimate moments regularly, but I'll also explore connections with other men to clear my mind. Remember, it's just physical intimacy with other men. You are the sole recipient of my affection. I will return to you in a few months and be your devoted partner once more. And then we can begin the journey of bringing the children we've envisioned into our lives. It appears, Emma, that you're not seeking my approval for this, which leads me to believe you've already decided what you want to do. If that's the situation, I want to formally express my opposition to it. I won't be granting you my permission or consent. Nonetheless, you are an adult with your own thoughts and decisions, so I won't hinder you if this is something you genuinely feel compelled to pursue." Everything was unfolding in a way that exceeded my wildest expectations. He didn't even elevate his tone. The entire discussion unfolded in a relaxed and friendly tone. It seems that Ava is indeed correct. Ethan Brooks is ready to embrace the new role I will be preparing him for. So, Emma, can you clarify how this will all come together? Will you be moving in? Or do you anticipate that I will be the one to move in? Are you planning to bring them here for intimacy? Will you be heading to their home or opting for a hotel instead? I've come to the conclusion that we will continue to reside here together. Ultimately, we are bound by marriage regardless. As I mentioned, we will continue to share our intimate moments. The others will merely be physical encounters. With you, I will be sharing an intimate connection. I imagine I might visit them occasionally, but I'll likely invite them over here at times as well. In such instances, you will need to rest in the spare bedroom on those nights. I honestly don't understand why we should spend money on a hotel room when we could simply stay here. Understood. Once more, I want to emphasize that I do not support this. However, I must emphasize that we should refrain from intimacy during this time. I apologize, but this is for my well-being. Given my lack of knowledge about these individuals and their histories, I won't take the chance of contracting any STDs they could potentially transmit to you. Furthermore, when you finish and choose to return to me, we will have to wait until you have undergone testing and have been cleared of any issues. Enjoy yourself and don't give me a second thought. Well, Ethan Brooks, I must admit, this has left me feeling quite let down. I truly cherish you and find great pleasure in our intimate moments together, yet I completely acknowledge your worries. I suppose I'll simply have to accept it. That's wonderful, dear. So when do you intend to embark on your charming escapades? Ava and I have made plans to hit up a club and meet a few guys from work tomorrow night. I'm uncertain about the outcome, but there's a possibility I could invite one of them over for the evening. Since you won't be intimate with me during this time, perhaps it would be more practical for you to stay in a spare room for the next couple of months. All right, Emma. There's no need to stress about it. I'll handle the moving in by the time you get home tomorrow night, Ethan Brooks said, returning to his reading of the paper. I was truly astonished by his level of maturity regarding the entire situation. My heart lifted with joy. Certainly, he expressed his discontent and declined intimacy, yet he was entirely open to everything else. He didn't show the slightest hint of anger. Ava was absolutely correct. In 2 months, Ethan Brooks would be completely in my control. Moreover, I understood that this absence of intimacy was merely a fleeting phase. In a week or two, he would return to my bed. Then I would simply employ the vaginal wrench to encourage him to fully accept his new position as my devoted little partner. The following day, hello, Ava. It's Emma. Hey there. How did everything turn out last night? Honestly, you wouldn't believe the level of maturity Ethan Brooks displayed in every situation. I anticipated an explosive reaction from him, yet he remained completely calm and composed. He exuded a remarkable sense of calm and acceptance toward everything that unfolded. Wow, that's fantastic. I assured you he would follow through. Do you believe you can persuade him to tune in this evening? I have my reservations. Honestly, I don't believe I'll even bring it up. He stated that he wouldn't engage in intimacy with me if I'm involved with someone else. I have a feeling that won't endure for too long. After a week or two of working with his hands, aware that a stunning woman stands by his side, he knows he will return soon. That sounds like it could be quite enjoyable. Since he declined to engage with me, I took the initiative to have him relocate to the spare room. He is currently in the process of gathering his belongings. He assured me that he would have entirely vacated the owner's bedroom by the time I returned home this evening. I appreciate that you updated the name from master bedroom to master bedroom. I suppose it's time for me to take that on myself. Absolutely. Well, it seems it's time for me to prepare myself. I will see you at the club. All right, take care. Later that night, Ethan Brooks had made significant strides in packing up everything from my bedroom. I found myself puzzled by his insistence on packing when he could easily haul armfuls of items down the hall. However, he clarified that this method was more efficient. He could minimize his walking by sorting through everything, setting aside the items he truly didn't need in boxes to dispose of later. That seemed somewhat logical, yet I was too occupied with preparations to really focus. He complimented me on how alluring I appeared in my thong, garter belt, stockings, and 5-inch loafers. He remained silent when I donned the little red cocktail dress I purchased for our 5th anniversary last year. That was truly the one occasion I donned it, yet I looked absolutely fantastic in it. All right, Ethan Brooks, I'm heading out now. I expect to return around 1 a.m., so there's no need for you to wait for me. Moreover, it's likely that I won't be by myself, I informed him, grasping my clutch and preparing to step out the door. Rest assured, darling, I will have relocated by that time, he vowed, sealing the final box. A persistent thought nagged at me as I stepped out of the house. It eluded my understanding, yet it stirred a slight unease within me. I came to the conclusion that it was of no significance. I pushed it aside and began to focus on the thrill and joy that awaited me this evening. I encountered Ava, Noah, and Liam at the club. Noah and Liam held the positions of account managers. Both were strikingly attractive, and as per Ava and a few other women in the office, quite well endowed. Although Ethan Brooks is somewhat bigger than most, I was eager to experience the feeling of something truly substantial within me. It seems that not only were they substantial, but they also understood how to maximize their capabilities. Ethan Brooks had indeed settled into the spare bedroom, and Ava inquired about the arrival of our first order. Indeed, he had just completed his packing as I was departing. He assured me that when I returned, he would have entirely vacated the place. I responded. "Did he really just say that?" Liam inquired. "Absolutely." When I informed him of the time I expected to be home, he replied, and I quote, "I'll have moved out by then." We all shared a hearty laugh together. Oh man, I was really hoping we could just shift that little guy over and have some fun on the bed right next to him, Noah chuckled. Perhaps after I spend a week or two working on him, I let out a chuckle. But before anything else, I'm curious. Why haven't either of you invited me to dance yet? For countless hours, we twirled and sipped. I shared the dance floor with both gentlemen on multiple occasions. We huddled closely together during the slow songs, and I could sense their arousal pressing against me. Naturally, their hands lingered on my backside for much of the evening. Ava and I slipped away to the ladies' room to chat about how the night was wrapping up. After 3 intense rounds of rock, paper, scissors, I found myself driving Liam home while Ava rode with Noah. The house loomed in shadows as I guided Liam across the threshold. Ethan Brooks should be tucked in by this hour. All is well. Regardless, his presence wasn't necessary. I guided Liam down the corridor to my room. Naturally, everything belonging to Ethan Brooks had vanished. Perhaps I could show my appreciation by giving him a hand job. There will be a matter to ponder in the future. At this moment, I have other matters that need my focus. We quickly shed our clothes, but Liam insisted I keep the garter belt and stockings on. I misplaced my thong a few hours back. I remained uncertain whether it belonged to Noah or Liam. It was of no consequence. I was earning sufficient income to consistently treat others. The following 2 hours were pure delight. We began with the missionary position, then transitioned to the doggy style. To prevent him from tiring out too soon, we wrapped up that round with the cowgirl. We took a brief pause to gather our thoughts. I enjoyed the sensation when he playfully spanked me as I moved on top of him. Who can say? Perhaps I'll allow Ethan Brooks to take the lead on his birthday or during our anniversary celebration. Yet, there would be no second chance. I would reserve it for my other partners. We found ourselves indulging once more in the shower before settling down for the night, and again upon waking the following morning. Following that, Liam needed to depart and return to his family. With my robe draped around me, I made my way to the kitchen to brew a cup of coffee. I felt a twinge of disappointment that Ethan Brooks had yet to brew the coffee. Ultimately, the hour had already surpassed 9 o'clock. Typically, he would have been awake for an hour by this point. I'll discuss it with him later. Honestly, Is it too much to ask for him to whip up some coffee and breakfast after I pulled an all-nighter? That plan, for the thoughtful gesture I intended to give him for taking up residence in the spare bedroom during my absence, has certainly fallen by the wayside. Following my breakfast bagel, I stepped into the shower and got dressed. The warm water enveloped me, providing the perfect relief for my aching muscles. With a free day ahead of me, I opted for my trusty old shorts and a casual t-shirt. Since I would only be spending time with Ethan Brooks, I opted for a practical bra and a worn pair of everyday panties. Just as I completed the task of gathering my hair into a ponytail, the phone rang. "Hey girl," I noticed it was Ava. "Hello, alluring individual. What did you think of Liam last night?" "He was extraordinary. It unfolded just as I had envisioned." "Regarding Ethan Brooks, how did he respond this morning?" "I'm feeling quite frustrated because it appears he is just dozing off. This morning, I felt let down that he didn't prepare breakfast and coffee for me. I considered giving him a part-time position for relocating to the spare room. But now, I'm having second thoughts. Absolutely ensure he understands your disappointment and the expectations you have moving forward. Maintain a bold approach with him, but ensure you offer small incentives when he achieves something positive. This will motivate him to put in more effort. I'm beginning to feel quite frustrated that he still hasn't risen. Hold on a moment while I rouse him from his slumber." I strode down the corridor to the spare bedroom, my fist striking the door as I called out his name with urgency. Silence lingered in the air. I made another attempt. No response came yet. At last, I grasped the knob and pushed the door wide open. "Blast!" I exclaimed. "What's the matter?" Ava inquired over the phone. "Ethan Brooks is not in the spare bedroom. His garments are not even stored in the wardrobe." "Hold on," I called out, dashing through the house. "Oh no, his truck is missing, and so are all of his tools." The faint whisper in the recesses of my mind was beginning to crystallize. "No," I exclaimed in shock. "Excuse me? What is it exactly?" Ava inquired. "Ethan Brooks has left the premises." At this moment, clarity dawned upon me regarding his words. He never mentioned that he would relocate his belongings to the spare room. He merely mentioned that he would take his belongings out of my room. He mentioned that he would settle in before my return. I assumed he was just talking about leaving my room, but he actually meant he was going to leave the entire damn house. I really need to reach out to him and see where he's disappeared to. This is not correct. It conveys a sense of vulnerability. It's important to remain resilient. Refrain from reaching out to him. Allow him to reach out to you. Believe in me. At this moment, he's merely throwing a small fit. In just a few days, he'll be back, seeking your attention once more. This is truly a positive development. Now you possess the perfect opportunity to impose consequences on him, compelling him to plead for a chance to return. It accelerates the procedure. I'm sure you could even have Liam or Noah take that step, and let Ethan Brooks take on the role of raising the little one. Do you really believe that's the case? I have no doubt. Check out what my husband does for me. I must concede, your insights have proven accurate up to this point. Absolutely, I am. And Noah would like to have a meeting with you in the supply closet at work for an hour on Monday. Is it truly possible for us to escape that? Certainly. At least a significant number of the girls are participating. It's quite unfortunate. I find myself needing to adhere to a timetable for it. I will send you an email with the meeting time. Simply record it as a scheduled commitment in another location. There's no need for concern. No one ever sees the boss in that place, and anyone who requires assistance knows to consult me first before heading over to retrieve anything. We continued our conversation for a bit longer before finally saying our goodbyes. I must confess, I felt a twinge of anxiety regarding Ethan Brooks' decision to relocate. Despite what my actions may imply, my feelings for him are genuine, and I truly wish to share my life with him forever. Ava just made FLM sound incredibly appealing, and it would give me the chance to explore all kinds of different men. Certainly, I will ultimately move on from other men, but Ethan Brooks will always be my loyal and devoted partner. Perhaps in a few years, I could negotiate with Ethan Brooks to allow me to start tying him down if I agree to stop seeing other guys. Clearly, that won't occur until I'm prepared to let it go, but he doesn't have to be aware of that. Perhaps I could consider tying up as a stipulation for his return. I'll need to ponder that for a moment. Regardless, I needed to recover after last night, and I have a demanding day at work ahead of me tomorrow. I found it amusing enough to chuckle about. I prepared a straightforward dinner, enjoyed a glass of wine, and then retired for the night. On Friday morning, I realized I hadn't heard from Ethan Brooks all week. Ava persuaded me that it wasn't particularly surprising. She was confident that I would receive news from him shortly. Moreover, the more time he spent away, the more stipulations I could impose for his comeback. This week, I found myself in the pantry daily, catching up with Noah, Liam, and a few other charming guys. I had arranged for both Noah and Liam to join me this afternoon, on that Friday morning. During our break, Noah, Liam, Ava, and I were gathered around the coffee machine, engaged in conversation, when we spotted a rather attractive young woman making her way towards us. Her attire exuded professionalism. Emma Carter, Ava Thompson, Liam Davis, and Noah Wilson, she inquired in a charming southern drawl. After we introduced ourselves, she distributed an envelope to each of us and swiftly captured a photo with a compact digital camera. "You've all been served," she declared, pivoting on her heel and striding toward our boss's office. "What is this?" I called out to her. "Darling, my job is to distribute them for laughs, not to actually go through them," she called out behind her. She strode into the boss's office unannounced. She emerged less than a minute later. "I hope everyone has a wonderful day," she exclaimed with a bright smile as she stepped out of the building. Each of us tore open our own packet simultaneously. A petition for dissolution of marriage. Wow. As I continued to read, the explanation provided was infidelity on the part of a spouse. I stood there, completely stunned. At that moment, the cell phones of Liam and Noah began to ring. They exclaimed in frustration. Attempting to capture two conversations at once would likely lead to considerable confusion. Let me provide a brief overview. Their spouses were the ones involved. Moments ago, they had gathered all the evidence of their actions. All their possessions were on the verge of being tossed out the door, and henceforth, they would need to alternate their sleeping arrangements. They ought to have anticipated receiving divorce papers at the first available moment. "What on earth?" bellowed our supervisor from the far reaches of the office. Out of nowhere, he materialized in the doorway. Spotting the four of us, he bellowed with such intensity that the entire office, which was far from small, echoed with his voice. "Adams, Morgan, Johnson, Jones, please come in here immediately." A sense of foreboding washed over me. With our heads bowed, we made our way past him into his office. He forcefully shut the door behind us. The negative aspects barely scratched the surface. Could someone please clarify this for me? He inquired, gesturing with a manila paper envelope before us. Not a single one of us found the courage to utter a word. Allow me to share some insights with you all. It seems the company is facing a lawsuit for failing to adhere to the ethical guidelines outlined in our employee handbook. Can you think of a reason why someone might choose to do that? Once more, we found ourselves unable to utter a word. Allow me to clarify it for you. We find ourselves facing a lawsuit due to the unfortunate circumstances surrounding Mrs. Adams and her inability to maintain discretion, Mr. Jones. And Mr. Johnson appears unable to maintain discretion regarding his personal matters, Mrs. Jones. Morgan has made the bold decision to transform our storage room into a company brothel. Now, could any of you please confirm whether any of these statements are invalid? Can anyone confirm that none of this occurred during business hours and on company property? Is there anyone here? Absolutely not. Are you all for real? What on earth were you all thinking? And you all want to know what a true nightmare this is. This frustrating court order prevents me from letting you go until the case is resolved. Now please leave my office until I can determine how to handle the four of you. With our heads bowed, we exited his office and made our way to our room. After that, I barely found myself in a genuine job. At least I still had employment. I chose to review the divorce petition and assess its severity. It was unfortunate. It contained images, recordings, sounds, and even a few certified letters. After an hour, a company-wide email arrived from the boss. Attention all employees. Management has observed that there have been ongoing instances of actions taken that directly violate the moral code of conduct outlined in the employee handbook, particularly regarding the respect for work time and company property. Given that this issue has regrettably been caused by actual employees, and considering the possibility that it may be more prevalent than currently recorded, significant measures will be implemented. Regrettably, management is unable to ascertain the identities and number of employees involved in these actions, prompting the following measures to be implemented. Every employee must take the time to understand the ethical guidelines outlined in the employee handbook. This weekend, he will be engaged in an online course that every employee must successfully finish. Every team member is required to finish this by next Friday. Throughout the day, security will conduct spot checks in all secluded areas. This will occur multiple times daily until permanent security cameras are set up to oversee these areas. Starting now, the storage room will be secured. The security supervisor will hold the key. All necessary supplies must be delivered under the supervision of a security escort. He will keep a vigilant eye on computer usage to guarantee that company resources are not being used for personal purposes. Engaging in activities that are not permitted encompasses, but is not restricted to, arranging meetings unrelated to work with colleagues or others during both work and non-work hours, utilizing personal email accounts on workplace computers, exploring websites unrelated to work, casual texting that isn't connected to work. Interactions with colleagues ought to be confined to the break room during designated breaks and lunch times. Security staff will patrol the premises to oversee this. As per company policy, the identities of individuals accountable for these actions will remain confidential. I doubt it will be needed at all. Just 2 minutes later, my inbox was inundated with a barrage of vitriolic messages from colleagues. After work, I gathered with the other 3 at a bar just across the street. We settled into a cozy nook at a quaint little table tucked away in the corner. A handful of colleagues gathered at the happy hour on Friday. Indeed, the way they regarded us was far from agreeable. At least there are still tasks ahead of us, at least for the time being. That was quite generous of him. Why do you suppose Ethan Brooks incorporated that into the court order? I inquired. Of course, Liam responded. It's quite clear. He wasn't making an effort to avoid causing you pain. His actions were meant to inflict even greater pain on you. Could you clarify what you mean by that? Spousal support. At this point, it might not hold much significance since he's citing infidelity as a justification, yet it's merely a safeguard against it. If you have a solid job and a reasonable income, it's highly unlikely that a judge would grant you alimony. Nonetheless, in the event of a layoff and the challenge of securing new employment, a compassionate judge might be persuaded that financial support is necessary until you regain stability. So, you remain at your job until your divorce is finalized. Congratulations to you. Once the divorce is finalized, all four of you unexpectedly find yourselves sitting on the pavement in the parking lot after the layoff. What occurs next? No spousal support, and unexpectedly unemployed. Well, I suppose I'll just hand in my resignation on Monday. My goodness, you truly are a natural blonde, aren't you? Noah inquired. Could you clarify what you mean by that? A resignation occurs when you voluntarily decide to depart from your position. If you attempt to request alimony after voluntarily leaving your job, the judge will need to inquire about your decision to leave a well-paying position immediately following the filing of divorce papers. Best of luck persuading the judge that this wasn't intended to prompt your ex into providing support. All the judge will perceive when he gazes upon you is a gold-digging opportunist. No, it's wise to hold on to your job for as long as possible and save every cent you can. Liam and I are going to find ourselves in an even more challenging situation. It's a certainty that our spouses will receive both alimony and child support, given that we have children together. What do you believe will occur if we are unexpectedly let go and struggle to secure another position that offers a comparable salary? Remember that alimony and child support are determined by the income present at the time of the divorce. This M thing certainly doesn't seem appealing at the moment. I came to the conclusion that I should reach out to Ethan Brooks and attempt to resolve our issues. Of course, I wanted to support my friends, but I simply couldn't bear the thought of losing my husband. What on earth was I considering? Forget my friends. If it comes down to sacrificing them to protect my marriage, then let the games begin. I swiftly retrieved my cell phone. Apologies, but the number you have reached does not accept calls from this line. Oh no. Ava, may I have your phone, please? What is the reason? Since Ethan Brooks has blocked my number. I must have a conversation with him to resolve this troublesome storm. She passed me her phone, and my three companions regarded me with curious expressions. Apologies, but the number you have reached is unable to accept calls from this line. Oh no, he's blocked yours as well. Consider reaching out to Noah or Liam. That doesn't seem like the best choice. I'm working on resolving it. What do you suppose his reaction will be if he discovers that the initial call I make to him is from one of my partner's phones? Sure, I get it. You probably think I'm not very bright. At this juncture, I find myself unable to contest it. Panic surged through me. How can I possibly locate my husband, who seems determined to remain elusive on a Friday night? Staying overnight at his workplace serves no purpose since it's closed, and he doesn't have shifts on weekends. Given that my cell phone, similar to Ava's, is blocked, I have a strong suspicion that he's also blocked our home phone and my work phone. I concluded that having a conversation over the phone wasn't going to be effective after all. I had to approach it in person. I had to track him down and catch him off guard. Forget all the nonsense surrounding women's marriage. At this moment, I would wholeheartedly surrender to him if it meant bringing my husband back. Wow, how much has shifted. This morning, I found myself contemplating the ways I could make him plead and yearn to return home. Who do you think might find themselves in a position of pleading and supplication now? I grabbed my phone and began scrolling through my contacts. Indeed, one of his friends is aware of his whereabouts. Surprise, none of our shared acquaintances had a clue. That wasn't entirely accurate. None of the mutual friends who continued to stay in touch with me had any idea. The many mutual friends who now despised me were well aware. Regrettably, although they were quite open about their awareness of his whereabouts, they stubbornly declined to share that information with me. When I inquired if they might kindly relay a message from me, I was greeted with laughter. I had just disheartenedly wrapped up my final call and fourth drink. That was the moment Liam demonstrated his brilliance. Indeed, that was expressed with a hint of sarcasm. Perhaps it was merely my state of mind at that moment, or it might have stemmed from the contrasting ways in which men and women perceive things. Some of you might genuinely consider Liam's suggestion to be quite insightful. Who? Me? I don't believe that's the case. Well, Liam started, since our lives are all chaotic anyway, why don't we head over to Emma's and spend the entire night together as a group? Since we've already been intimate, we can embrace that and enjoy a night filled with passion. He believed that was solid reasoning. Perhaps that was his perspective, but I had just received a significant infusion of practicality. Certainly, when there's nothing remaining to lose, it could spark some contemplation. I believe that Ethan Brooks and I still hold a glimmer of hope. The slightest possibility would vanish quicker than a droplet on the sun's surface if I invited everyone inside for a late-night gathering of indulgence. I graciously declined and suggested that Ava take them home instead. I was attempting to win back my husband. I explored every possible avenue to locate Ethan Brooks during the weekends. I circled through the motel parking lots for what felt like an eternity, searching for his truck. I cruised by each of his friends' homes at various times, hoping to catch a glimpse of his truck parked there. I attempted to shadow his closest companion when I noticed him departing from his residence, wishing he would head to the same place as Ethan Brooks. All efforts proved futile. On a Monday morning, I set up camp just across from his workplace. That morning, I observed the arrival of everyone, yet Ethan Brooks was conspicuously absent. I lingered for yet another hour, and still, there was no sign of anything. Despite being late for work, I felt indifferent. Forget it. They weren't planning to let me go at this moment, and I would eventually be let go after the settlement. However, that was of no consequence. I exited the vehicle and made my way to the office. I noticed the door to Ethan Brooks' office was shut, so I inquired with the receptionist about Ethan Brooks' presence. She mentioned that he would be away for a fortnight. Oh no. Upon my arrival, 2 hours behind schedule, I was met with a fierce glare from my superior. I was indifferent. Every phone available to me is currently inaccessible. His companions decline to offer assistance. I'm unable to send him a message while he's at work. I'm completely in the dark about his whereabouts, which means I can't just appear at his door. Sending it by mail isn't feasible since I'm uncertain about the destination. What choices do I have? Could you please provide your email address? He consistently reviews his email. I can only wish he refrains from blocking my emails. There's no harm in giving it a shot. Ethan Brooks. I have no justification, so I won't take up our time attempting to provide one. It seems I have unwittingly fallen victim to the folly that plagues the unwise. I hold no resentment towards Ava for this, as the decision was mine to make. However, I found it truly delightful to listen to her insights on women's marriage. I can't fathom what led me to believe there was even the tiniest possibility you'd go for it in the first place. Indeed, I ought to have been more aware. I truly apologize for needing such a strong nudge to bring me to my senses. I find myself awake now. I want you to understand that I feel a profound sense of embarrassment and remorse for my actions. I understand that you probably won't accept that regardless. Ethan Brooks, regardless of what has transpired lately, my love for you is profound and unwavering. Never for a moment should you believe that you acted inappropriately. I was simply being foolish and self-centered. Ethan Brooks, my dear, though I may not be worthy, I implore you to find it in your heart to forgive me. Please allow me to return, and I am prepared to offer you whatever it takes to make that a reality. I realized how misguided my attempt to create FLM was, yet I would be excited to contribute to MLF. Indeed, Ethan Brooks, I'm offering you my very essence, while you merely issue commands. I am willing to go to any lengths to return to the place I truly belong, by your side. Indeed, I am familiar with what the term anything means. Ethan Brooks, I'm willing to give you whatever you desire. I've never been drawn to women, but for you, I would indulge in that dessert from someone else. If it brings me back to you, I'll gladly serve you and your friends at a Super Bowl party, dressed in nothing but a garter belt, stockings, and high heels. Are you interested in a more intimate experience with me? Simply instruct me to lean over the closest chair, no matter who might be observing. Would it be beneficial to strike my backside with a leather belt? Simply let me know the time and place. I'll even deliver the belt to you. Given that you have every reason to doubt my intentions, I will willingly don the chastity belt and hand over the keys to you. As it was a prerequisite for my return to you, I have already undergone a blood test for STDs. The results are expected to arrive in a few days. Simply let me know the destination for the results, and I'll ensure they reach you. Ethan Brooks, I truly believe that regardless of the circumstances, you are the most remarkable person I've ever encountered. I understand that you could never find it in yourself to cause me pain, even if I might warrant it. I embrace it all. I'm not requesting that you erase the past, or, at the very least, have faith in me once more. I simply seek the chance to belong to you in whatever way you wish. I seek nothing but the chance to return to you, eternally, even if it means consenting to a divorce or witnessing you with other women to achieve that. I hope it doesn't come to that, yet I understand it's beyond my control. I acknowledge my mistakes, and I understand that you may feel the need to seek retribution. Goosey, all that nonsense. What's the situation with Ava, Noah, Liam, and the legal action involving my company? Ava skillfully convinced me to go along with this plan. Liam and Noah seized the opportunity. As you are aware, my termination will occur once the lawsuit against the company reaches a resolution. We bear the responsibility for everything. Feel free to do as you wish with them. If you'd like, I'm here to assist you. From this moment forward, I am entirely at your service. Your devoted servant, Emma. Epilogue. Fortunately, Ethan Brooks has not yet chosen to block my email. What's truly astonishing is that he took the time to read it. No, he didn't believe me. Ultimately, I had already shattered the most significant promise I had ever taken. You're aware of the story that revolves around abandoning everyone else. Having already broken that promise, what reason would he have to believe I wouldn't break any others? My only option was to demonstrate it to him through each individual action. 2 years had passed since I dispatched that letter. Liam and Noah had endured significant hardships in their divorces. The day after the lawsuit against the company was settled, all 4 of us found ourselves without jobs. Liam and Noah ultimately succeeded in securing another position, albeit with significantly reduced compensation. They found themselves relocating to a cramped 1-bedroom apartment nestled in one of the city's most troubled neighborhoods. As a result of their financial struggles, their social lives dwindled, leaving them with little connection to the world around them. Their former spouses seized this chance to alienate the children from them. I've come to understand that both women are currently in significantly healthier relationships. Who, me? At this moment, I find myself kneeling beside the bed, exposed and adorned with a chastity belt, as Ethan Brooks concludes his task. This is my atonement. Should I include all of this in a letter? Indeed, Ethan Brooks sought to challenge me and determine whether I would uphold those promises or not. If I wish to have him return, my options are quite limited. The past 6 months were quite challenging, but in time, he eased up somewhat. He still has me do it occasionally, like right now, but it's improved over time. He brings other women home just once every 2 months these days. Once I was let go, I ceased all work activities. Ethan Brooks received a promotion and now earns enough for us to manage comfortably without my income. I spend the majority of my time at home, looking after the children and managing the household. We are the proud parents of 2-year-old twins. I often find myself without clothes, but Ethan Brooks has recently suggested that I should begin dressing at home in the near future. The children are reaching an age where it feels strange otherwise. At this moment, I don garments solely when I step outside or when we entertain visitors. I continue to greet the delivery person in my birthday suit. I underwent laser hair removal, resulting in a lasting landing strip over my intimate area. This renders it impossible to conceal my Ethan Brooks tattoo on the right side of the band, as well as the Ethan Brooks tattoo on the left side. Each week, Ethan Brooks refreshes the 5 crimson lines on my backside with a leather strap. Immediately following the 5th stroke, he removes my plug and takes me from behind as I bend over the couch. I have my flaws. At times, I notice additional marks on my backside or my chest when I make mistakes, yet I find it quite pleasurable. Who would have thought that the sharpness of a strap-on could lead to such a predicament? Is that you, Ava? Indeed, she remains in her marriage. Indeed, she was let go as well, yet it was hardly anticipated that she would face any significant repercussions. Her husband was entirely at her mercy. She would simply seek out another opportunity, and life would continue for her. Indeed, life often presents us with challenges that seem unjust. Indeed, it is. It appears that Mason Harris defied the expectations of being the submissive underdog that many assumed he was. Upon gathering all the evidence, his anger surged. I believed my last 6 months were challenging, but they were a walk in the park compared to what she endured. After concluding that he had inflicted sufficient punishment, he presented her with the divorce papers. As he subjected Ava to torment, he discreetly converted all of their assets into cash and safeguarded them. He transferred ownership of the house to her after refinancing and extracting all the equity, then vanished without a trace. She lost the home, and with it, all the money vanished. She secured a new position, but it offered merely half the salary she previously earned. She carries a certain reputation, yet she isn't currently pursuing any romantic relationships. She faces another month of antibiotics ahead of her. You might be curious about why I endure this, or find amusement in the notion that I got what was coming to me. If you're upset that Ethan Brooks didn't abandon me, I express my gratitude daily that he chose not to, even though I know I had it coming. I endure it because I simply cannot fathom a life without the one I cherish most by my side. Certainly, Ethan Brooks may dominate and belittle me, yet his affection for me remains strong. He may have other women, but I am always part of the picture. I have the freedom to depart at my discretion. Ethan Brooks presented documents indicating his commitment to fairness in the divorce proceedings. I declined the offer. He is an exceptional father, devoted partner, and loving husband. I require nothing more. I became so engrossed in the idea of women's marriage that I overlooked what truly mattered. Rather than enjoying a balanced partnership, I found myself becoming submissive to my husband. It was unexpected, yet I find myself at peace. Thanks for watching this story on Addie's Story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a new tale. Stay tuned for more, and until next time, take care and keep living your own amazing stories.